Welcome to Simply Live, Sunday morning with Lesa and Wendy. Wendy's looking, she's like, who are you talking to, Mom? I don't see anybody. Mama's talking to the phone. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the, let's see, this is the 14th of January. I'm looking at the clock calendar thing. 14th of January. So, tomorrow is halfway through the month. Wow, huh? 2024. Let's see. We got a couple of things going to happen today. I just had an email announcement thing that has thrown me for a loop, which is why I was by my clock 1 minute late. Hopefully, the cell phone signal stays good. I do have the WeBoost plugged in and running this morning. I don't see that it makes a big difference. But phone is completely charged on 100%. So I will try not to move around too much so that we don't lose signal because of location in the cabin. But hi, everybody. Let me see who's out here. Greg, I was thinking about you this week, Mr. Greg from Oregon. Welcome. And Miss Iris, thank you for coming. Some of you saw my notice on Facebook. Hi, Donna R. Sunny. Oh, right. From Texas. Hi. Jeremy, welcome. And Miss Catherine. So Miss Catherine and I had talked sometime earlier this week, which is the reason why one of the things we're going to do this morning is what we're going to do. Because she has a small dog too. And she saw my post that I had made emergency snow boots for Miss Wendy, because Miss Wendy's kept freezing her feet or something. She would be outside for a really short minute having a ball, like running in the snow and the sun on the snow. But every once in a while, she'd lift up one leg and be crying like nobody's business. I'd bring her in, I'd dry it off, I, warm it up and do what I could. But she was having a hard time with her foot. I'm kind of jumping right in this morning into the stuff of the title. So because her feet were hurting her so bad in the snow, and I have to go to the woodpile, and I don't want her inside, having anxiety and barking because she can't be outside playing and out with me. So I'm technically, I am 80 miles from a pet store. Now, a Dollar General or a Family Dollar is closer, but they don't generally have things like dog boots. They'll have dog and cat food, they'll have pet food, they'll have a couple of leashes. You're lucky if you can get small pet anythings. So anyway, so I knew that going to get her boots was not happening. So I'm saying an awful lot. I'm hearing myself. So what I did, we'll do this first and then we'll go on to other stuff. Okay, y'all? So Catherine, so these are engineer's gloves. I buy a pack of these at Harbor Freight every once in a while. I don't remember if they come in a pack of 5 or 4 or what, but for cheap, because they're leather on the palms of them and on the fingers, but they're fabric back here. So I can do a lot of yard work in these year round and your hands don't get sweaty like welding gloves. But I cook on fire a lot, so I want the leather fingers. So I had a pair that were really worn and soft. And now I'm going to show you, but it's not pretty, okay? And yes, I have to keep stepping away from you and coming back, but that's because I don't want to move the phone and lose y'all. So when I'm talking worn gloves, they were black. And very soft leather. These are the fingers. Okay, very soft leather. And you know, the fabric was still there. There you go. I mean, we're talking really fugly, okay? I had a couple of holes. There were a couple of fingers that had holes in them. And so I put Wendy up on the end of the bed and I kept holding all the fingers of the glove up against her foot. And these were the first two fingers I cut off, thinking, oh, I could do this and then I can stitch something on so it'll stay on her foot, right? Yeah, these were, I should have left these attached to the rest of the glove or something because sewing or gluing would have been a thing. Okay. So then, now I'm going to show you on the new glove. Okay. Then I realized that there's an awful lot more leather where the thumb and this finger go together. So my thumbs had holes in them, so I cut them off. And then I cut here and I cut here. So I had this chunk of the first finger of the glove because of the shape of Wendy's foot. It all had to do with the shape of her foot. So now you're going to see the ugly fugly boots not on her, which I never was going to show anybody because I just did this to make it work. Because the poor girl was crying. So where I cut the thumb thing leather off, there's a hole, okay? And then on the back side, the fabric was pretty rough, torn. And so I just cut a hole in it with a pair of scissors, okay? And then I was able to put her foot down in here, and because it's soft and worn, she can bend her foot. And then her knee, elbow, on her, because she's such a narrow foot, I had to get the Velcro above the elbow joint so she wouldn't lose them. And so I had these whoops, wrong side. Yeah, so I just used, you know, kitchen scissors, and this is make and do. You know, when you're poor and you're out in the middle of somewhere and things happen. I had these Velcro cord wraps. You guys have seen these. They come in a roll. I happen to have a roll of gray, white ones. They're gray, light gray and dark gray. And they pop apart here, right? They come apart and they have a little hole in them that you can thread through. That's too much trouble when you're dealing with a little dog who's crying and wants to go outdoors. So I just took those and poked one end through one hole and one end through the other hole and wrapped it around her leg above the joint, elbow, and tightened it around, not enough to hurt her, but enough to keep the boot on. And she only lost one boot once for a really short period of time. Whoops, I just ripped that. Okay. That's all right. We'll just, you know, keep doing. And you could do it with any pair of gloves. Just, I was trying to get her something soft that she could feel the ground through. I can imagine, though, that if I really was making a pair to make them look good and not just be an emergency pair, that I could glue a little piece of felt or cotton, or well, probably not cotton, something softer on the inside for her foot to step on. But she was happier outside, not crying, with her feet frozen. And I mean, when I had looked at her foot in between her little pads, it was red, and you know, she was freezing her feet. So that's the boots, Catherine. Is that enough for you to know how to do it? I didn't think I wanted to cut up another pair of gloves. I can, but if you really need me to cut those up and show you more, I will. So that's emergency budget dog boots. Are we still here? We are still here. Okay. You know what? I did not put the don't disturb on my phone. So that's yeah, that's emergency dog boots for poor folks or whatever. And if you don't have zip ties, I imagine you could use a piece of ribbon or something soft, a piece of t-shirt, and loosely tie it on carefully so that you're not hurting the animal, your pet. But that's what I did. That's all about the emergency boots. Um, I decided to wear my new bay leaf blue shirt that, ooh, I forgot their names. They're here often. Bought me. So one of you guys bought me this as a gift last month. Um, I might have been starting to get depressed this week, so I need to be careful. Um, I'm saying an awful lot. Uh, it's been warm. I'm fine. I have enough food. I have played with the car driving around in snow, so I know I can get out. I did get out. I went shopping a couple of times, but I went and met the UPS driver. Was surprised he could get as close as he could that day. Um, have not gone down to the post office. I need to do that again. I will need to go out and get some more drinking water, though I can filter water as soon as the big tank is thawed enough so I can get water out of it. I don't have trouble with that. And I'll boil water in a heartbeat to make sure I have drinking water. Yeah. Um exactly, Jeremy. It just was I had to protect her. She was in pain. And sometimes we have to do these things and you have to think quick and just do something. We don't always when we don't live close. Hi, big girl, you want to go out? You want to go outside? You want to sit with mama? Up? Come on up. Okay. She wanted to wear her t-shirt this morning. Wendy is very smart. She brings me her t-shirt when she wants to put it on. And she comes over to me and she has a little thing she does that lets me know she wants to go outdoors. And since it's been really sunny the last few days, I'll crack open the back door where she can nudge it with her nose and get in and out. And she'll just go out there and sit on the rug that's dark colored right outside the door in the sunshine. And so she's doing really good. Good morning, Mary. Um, so yeah, I got to watch my depression a little bit. It may be because I added some other things back to my diet, and maybe that's a mistake. Not going to stop all of it, but I'm going to keep the oranges. Yes, hi, baby. He's a good girl. He's a good girl. So I'm not sure. I tried to eat lentils. That might be a problem. Well, probably is because lentils do have lectins in them, and I'm probably not supposed to. But whatever. So I tried a couple of things. I don't know. Tonight we're gonna try the sauerkraut that I've been making. That's in the corner in a jar over there. It's in the back. Um, but I bought a cabbage and I decided I just feel like my gut bacteria could use a little help. And so I did that, and I have some sourdough um, working. I probably will use that sourdough starter that I made along with green plantain flour, which is, I used to make it in Costa Rica. It's plantains from Central America, are banana family, but it's the green ones, and you dehydrate them and then you crush them into a powder. And so it's a fruit, and it's a resistant starch. And resistant starches evidently feed your good gut bacteria or microbiomes and keep them happy. So I will, that's what I bought eggs to use with so I can make like a pancake. So I don't know what day. Usually I used to do that like a Sunday morning, but it was too much work this morning. I had a lot go. Well, I felt like I had a lot going on this morning because I've had a couple of days of weird. Like, I wish somebody else was around so that their activity would just change my mind, you know? Just somebody coming in the space and saying, yo, blah, 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 blah. It would be just, yeah, whatever. I don't know. So I've made it a goal to talk on the phone to a live person 3 times during my weeks because I've done so well in therapy that I am backing off on how often I do therapy. So as part of my thing, I'm also in more contact with my kids right now, which is kind of different and cool. My daughter's daughter, so the granddaughter, don't chew on that. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Don't chew on that. You have a bone. What are you doing, you butthead? You want to go outside? So my granddaughter, that's my daughter's, whoops, sorry, daughter, does not live with my daughter currently, but they get to visit in person twice a month, and they get to stay in contact and talk with each other more than often, anytime they want. And so they're both doing really well with their situation. And so without saying too much about it, they were out yesterday and were able to Google Meet in a video chat with me yesterday. That was really kind of cool. I'm reading comments, catching up. When I lived in Lake Havasu, Arizona, I had put boots on my dogs on the boat and just wandering around because the temperature of 120 on the ground is real. Yes, and I don't know if you know, but in the last few years, I guess back when I still had Aussie, so we're talking 4 or 5 years ago, Havasu has dog warning messages that they shoot to your phone the way they do for alerts for like kids getting kidnapped and stuff, that says it's too hot for your dogs. In Havasu, they'll arrest you if you don't keep your dog off the pavement or have their feet covered. They'll arrest you for abusing your animals. It's kind of, but it's serious heat, and it's serious. So sorry, I keep moving the phone around. I don't know. I don't know what else I want to talk about. Let's see. Driving in snow. So out here, snow is different, right, Jeremy? Snow, this particular snow came down really soft and powdery and beautiful and fluffy. And you could just, it was so fun the first couple of days. And then the sun comes back out. And like right now, I can see my thermometer out there. And it's almost 40 degrees in the shade here. And so there are patches where it's starting to melt. So what happens is, well, yeah, then like you said, Jeremy, and then the wind picked up. Yeah. Not only the wind, but then we'll get warm days like this and it'll start to melt in patchy places, like around the trees and on the south sides of things. And you'll start to get these patchy dirt areas. Well, you think they're just dirt, they're mud. And it's like cement or something. So what I've been kind of playing with, because the blue car was new to me, right? So at first I thought, well, it's just smart since I did have a battery issue once or twice out here. It would be smart this year to just start the car almost every day and drive it around the circular part of my driveway just so that I keep it clear enough and I feel confident that if I needed to go out, I could maneuver that. And so that it would be like practice. And I thought, well, that'll be fun. And a couple of times I was like, oh, let's hit the brakes and see if I slide. Right. So I played a little bit, not tearing up my driveway, but you get my idea. So what I've ended up doing is every day driving down to the first intersection that I come to on my way out. So that's three quarters or three quarters of a mile, I think. Anyway, so I've just been driving that circuit and driving around the driveway. Well, yesterday I was like, well, let's play a little more. Let's mush the, because I don't have a snow shovel here. I could be shoveling with a regular flat bladed shovel, not a spade, but I don't feel like it. So, oh, that sounds lazy to me. But anyway, so I was like, oh, let's drive tire tracks right in front of the front step a few times so that I don't have to shovel that snow, and we'll just pack it enough so that it'll melt on its own and I don't have to deal with mud from, or the shovel marks from digging it too deep or something. And so I did some of that, just playing. And it was fun. But what happens is that it gets warm like this during the day, stuff starts to melt, then it gets cold at night or the wind comes up again and it freezes. And then it'll either snow or blow the snow that we have over what you already drove on. So it's packed and then it refreezes until it's really icy and slippery. And so yeah, it was fun to make the car just slide and see if I could control it. Yeah, it's fun. I've lost my freaking mind, right? So hi Donna K. Iowa minus 13. There you go. So Donna K, I lived in Maine and I remember 40 below for 2 weeks straight and it never getting above 40, not in the daytime or anything. And it's a thing. You step out the door and your eyelashes freeze and the breath in your nostrils, you can feel it crystallizing before it's all the way out. Oh yeah. There you go, Jeremy. You got to repair that truck because your family tried to go out, right? And yeah, when the wind picks up, that's another thing it does is it blows that snow and it makes these drifts that are incredibly deep. And so I was the other day when I went to meet the UPS driver, I was like sweating it a little bit because I remember years ago, the year that they filmed the Nomad movie, the reason I wasn't in the movie was because I was stuck here on the property with 3.5 feet of snow. And I was paralyzed and I couldn't drive my own car. And I had a 2-wheel drive car at the time. And I tried to move it and it slid sideways in the road. And so not only the slid sideways in the road and I just left it sitting there until things dried up, but I had neighbors who tried to come in and get to me. They were going to check on me, but they didn't call me. And of course, phones weren't working that good back then, but they got their 4-wheel drive truck stuck in a snow drift. And where I had to drive to meet the UPS driver last Wednesday was the same drift he got stuck in. And I was like, well, I hope I can do it. And I plowed the snow and went right through it. So I was like, with the car, I mean, I don't have a snowplow on that thing, but oh my goodness, I did it. So, I did it. I met the UPS guy. He was like, "Oh yeah, the roads are fine to here." I'm like, "Okay." So, yep. So this won't. This snow is not going to last. It's melting a little at a time. I know everybody keeps talking about us going to be getting this polar vortex freeze temperatures. If we do, we do. But I haven't seen any signs of that yet. It might have been -1 or 1 or 2 or something a couple of nights ago, but I haven't had any. I haven't had any horrible nothing my wood stove can handle. Wood stoves are the bomb. Yes, you have to split wood. Yes, you have to make sure wood is in the house. Yes, later I have this. Can you see right, right there? That brown bag. That bag is my wood bag for in the house. When I fill that, I have to fill that up in the afternoon, and it's enough wood to go all night and the first, coffee water in the morning. And what's usually been happening routine wise during this winter snap thing we're going through has been right about, depends, 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. Often Wendy will come try to cuddle close to me. She likes to sleep down by my feet, but she'll get in a cuddly mood, and she'll be shivering. And so I usually try to get up, let her go to the bathroom in case she needs to, and then put some wood in the stove and go back to bed. And then I get up about 6, something like that. And boy, I just saw me wrinkle my nose weird. Anyway, and so that's usually what's been happening. And then by, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock, I have some wood on the front porch. I go out there and I get another stick or two. And so I try to keep wood on the front porch. That's enough usually for 1, 2, 3. That can be enough for like 3 days without walking to the wood pile. But I just go to the wood pile. And then the brown bag, I just fill almost every day. I walk to the wood pile and bring that brown bag back. That does a good afternoon and evening. It's enough wood to keep us going. I'm watching Wendy. Miss Wendy is, she has really, she knows where she lives now. She understands. She has chewy bones and she has bones from meat because most of I eat a lot of meat. And so she has chewy bones and things like that. And she she's funny. She has her personalities coming out. But boy, she will hunt a rat in a heartbeat. She sees any rat tracks, she's all over them. I'm like, yeah, good, 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 good. So, who have we got? Tara, thank you for coming. Welcome. So, okay, so driving in snow, off-grid winter cabin stuff. Yeah, I don't try to keep the wood stove running all night long. That doesn't make any sense. When you're inside the blankets and you're warm enough, as long as Wendy is warm. And Tara, I just recently got a new dog, and her name's Wendy, and she's little, so yeah, of course, I'm trying to make sure she stays warm. And but the wood stove, I run it at night, and when I feel like it's time to go to bed, then I stop messing with the stove. And about that 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, most of the time it's 5, but when it's been really cold, sometimes it's a little earlier. Um, I'll get up and I'll start it so that by the time I want to get up, then it's pretty warm in here. and the water will be hot enough to make a cup of coffee. That's kind of how I've been doing that. It has been a challenge a couple of times with battery packs not staying charged, but once I get sunshine like we have today, I plug them both in. This one's not plugged in right now. The Rock Pals is plugged in. Let's switch the cord because the Rock Pals was at 97% when I plugged it in this morning. So I just changed that cord. That cord actually just runs out the window and is up on a tall pole. And so that one will be full in a little while. As long as I'm not running the refrigerator right now. My meat is actually outside because it's warm enough. I mean, it's cold enough that it's frozen. So it's frozen outside, protected. Um, let's see what else. I don't know what else to talk about today. Could do you guys have questions for me? Because I don't know whether I'm having cabin fever, but I've been going through, well, a lot of processing since I came back, anyways. The white car. Okay, Jeremy. Okay, Jeremy, we'll talk about the white car. Oh, okay. Greg would like to see. Greg wants to know how many miles of dirt road before you get to the paved road? 7. You didn't ask this, Greg, but how many miles of non-maintained county dirt roads before I get to a county maintained dirt road? It's a mile and a half. And the county is doing an excellent job at improving that maintained road. So the roads are way better than they used to be. Because, boy, I remember going down and having lakes and wondering if I was going to flood my Honda Passport out getting in and out of here. Um, I did have one time when, oh, I was so scared. The mud was coming up over the windshield so bad that the windshield wipers couldn't handle it. And I was just closed my eyes and pointed the car through the middle. I know how deep it is. God, don't let me get stuck in the middle. And I got through it. And I was like, don't do that again, Lesa. That was not smart. So, and luckily, I'm kind of smart with my dogs. Back when I had Ozzy, or now that I have Wendy, I don't leave the dogs home alone because my dogs are small dogs. It's not like they will be all right if something happens and I can't get home. And so that's why the dogs are always with me in the car, because they're smaller dogs. If they were bigger dogs, yard dogs or something, they could be outside and that would be a whole other thing. But not when I can't guarantee that I can get back to tend to them. And then Greg also is asking me to do some more road videos. Okay. Okay, but part of the reason, Greg, that I'm being careful with the road videos is I've had people figure out where I lived before or where I was camped before. And that whole people showing up unannounced doesn't work for me. You are not welcome to just show up at my cabin. So I'm trying to be careful what I show. So I will give you some more. I have more. I took some more. I took some more shots of this whole snow thing because, for one, I'm sharing them with my son. It's so cool to be a little more connected with my 2 children. I That's all I got to say on that. So, okay. So I felt like there was something else I was going to say before I go to the white car, but Jeremy asked me about the white car and now I got to talk about it. So I love my white tracker. It's still mine. I did not give it away. I did not leave it for junk. No, I totally intend to rebuild the engine and get my white tracker back. I love that car. Y'all, some of you have seen the videos, the interview or the showing it off thing I did last winter with Tristan on SUV I know there's nearly 300,000 views on that video. My interviews with other people do really well when they interview me. Um, I my classes do really well when I teach classes. I know y'all keep asking me to do coaching and or write a book, and maybe, but I just feel like I would know when it was right. And I also feel like I know the white car. I'm getting to that. Yeah, I really am getting to that. Um, so okay, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm gonna have one of those days. So okay, so the white car. Just before 5 minutes, 10 minutes before I started the live, I got a message from Boss Customs, and they're having to close their shop. So they are no longer available for repairs in that area. Mike is actually he's having to get a job, and he's going to just concentrate on full frame up restorations as his sideline to having to have a job. He has a family. He's got to do what he's got to do. So what does that mean? I don't know. My initial quick first thing was, oh crap. Well, maybe we should go get it and bring it back here, where between my Zooks of Arizona buddies and Stan and Stanley can get it done for me. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, and yet I do know, but I haven't talked to Mike, so I want to be careful what I say at this stage in public, because I need to find out what's the possibilities, because Stan and Stanley do so much with Zukis that they want to do more with the Suzukis and the trackers. And so they have there's a lot of them in this area. So it's so I need to do some more information gathering. And then I probably need to call Mike up there and see whether it would be both helpful, and because it would be for me to figure out a way to go get it. So that would incur cost, sure, but it's not cost we haven't all thought about. And Stan and Stanley at one point were discussing picking up some more Suzukis along the way, and for extra parts and things, because and for other restoration projects for themselves. So I don't know. So that's I don't know how to talk about that anymore right now, Jeremy. I just feel like there's so much, like I need to know more from other people before I, because how much is it going to cost me to go get them? Can we make it work out? I mean, I'm blessed like nobody's business. And so if I get an idea and I think about it well and pray about it, and it could be a blessing to other people that we go after it if it's have to cost me as much as I think, because if we can include it along with picking up parts or picking up other vehicles or you, it might be able. Well, that just came to me. The other part of in my everyday life, I just take a shower. I would love to go take a shower. But taking a shower means I've got to drive an hour to town. And before I do that, I have to make sure that the roads are good and I can get back home. I have enough money, and that I'm making a worthwhile trip. And there are times when I wonder, this may sound totally like off the wall, but I don't think it is. Sometimes I wonder if I had had a little camp trailer or something, could I have rented a spot for just a month and just gone down to St. John's where I'm with people, with other people I know, while the bad weather's up here, and just stay down there for a minute? I don't know. That might sound a little crazy. The Wii Boost went off. Hang on. When I unplugged the power, I accidentally unplugged the Wii Boost. There you go. Still not very many bars. I should probably put you back up on the wall. All right, let me go back down here and see. I saw another question about, would it be a problem storing different fuels in the same closet? Just bought an alcohol stove and use, yeah, it's not, Sunny. It's not really a problem. I have a tendency, sterno and alcohol are the same thing. Butane is different and is pressurized, and propane is pressurized and different. So when I help people figure it out, the thing that I try to do, especially when you're doing small stoves and things like that, or in your campers or vans or whatever, just try to keep them in the shade. I try to separate, even with just a piece of cardboard, the canisters from each other so they don't make a lot of sound bouncing around, and they don't jiggle too much. That might be overkill and not necessary. I've seen people do some stuff with propane tanks that, good Lord, I have seen some people do some things. But I wouldn't do it. I'm a little bit careful. I didn't like the idea of storing 5-gallon cans of denatured alcohol on my property in the sunshine. I didn't have a storage shed where I could put it. So I sent it to a different farm to be stored because I had 7 5-gallon cans of it. Now in the winter, I wouldn't have been afraid of it. But in the heat of the summer and not having any shade for it, that was nerve-wracking for me personally. So that's why I separated it that way. You are fine storing them close to each other. I just separate them. I don't like client noise. I just think it makes sense. I hope that's helpful. Thank you, Iris. Iris is saying prayers for God's guidance in the new development. Thank you. No wonder I'm a little depressed. Well, the little of the other stuff is too many decisions without anybody's input. What's going on with the signal? Okay, you're going back up on the wall. I don't know what's happening with the signal. It's 5 bars right now. All right, I know I went away from it, people. I'm not trying to be rude. Okay. Okay, so no wonder you've been a little depressed. Yeah, so somebody else's input. would have felt really good while I was saying, well, I wonder if I should put that thing there. Or should I really get rid of this thing? I really never really intended to have that to start with. And, this wasn't my idea for. And sometimes we just make do and make do and make do. And there comes a time when it's time to just go, you know what? I started this off because I thought this would be XYZ. And I thought that over there would be a good spot for the, H HIJK, I don't know. And like my back patio is going to make the best kitchen, but it probably needs to start off as like a screened in porch. And that way it's legal with the county and everything else. But it's got a stone floor. And this side, which is my ridge, the canyon, I own the top of a canyon and down into it. Anyways, the canyon side, which is the far side of my pergola back porch, is the south. So if I put anything like greenhouse plastic or anything on that wall, the solar gain will be incredible. And I mean, like I said, right now, every day when I've got sunshine, Wendy's sitting on the rug outside in the sun. She's just sitting there having fun, watching the birds. So that's going to make a great outdoor kitchen. I mean, a great kitchen. And it'll have a wood stove. It'll be a wood fired kitchen, but that's going to be a fabulous little kitchen. Okay, so I don't know. And I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit too. So who is this? True North. Hi, welcome. Off topic. I'm in humid Southwest Florida. I'm helping a friend get a camper clean and stored without power. Any suggestions? I hung damp. Yeah, do damp rid. Charcoal will help. Rice, I don't think it's worth it. I think rice is a waste of, oops, you can't see me. I think rice is a waste of your money. Dry rid, yeah. What else might help? The charcoal. I would do the charcoal in a heartbeat over everything. Do not use matchlight. Use like, in my humble experience, in my humble opinion, Family Dollars, low end, store brand charcoal. It's like a 15-pound bag for $8 or something like that. Has no lighter fluid in it. It's basic. It works. Inexpensive. I'd buy that stuff. I'd use that. Just open the bag or cut the bag in half and put half a bag in. You kind of get my drift. Put some in one area and some in another area. Even for people in small vehicles, those little tiny closet dry rid things that the dollar stores have, and I'm talking Dollar Tree, which is inside Family Dollars now, for $1, $1.25. Those things work. I use them. I stick them under the seats in the cars. They help with the condensation and everything. So I think that's useful. I'm trying to remember. If you have to put, in Florida, if you have to put curtains up to keep the sun off, to keep the sun from the windows from fading the inside, if you can maneuver it, use thick beach towels or microfiber camp towels, like from like Walmart, like Ozark Trail ones or something, as the curtains to keep the sun out of the vehicle, out of the camper, off the upholstery and stuff. You just use them for curtains and they'll absorb moisture and dry out as they hang. So during the day when it warms up, they'll dry out in the sun, and then, but they'll prevent the sun from damaging the fabrics. And it's a good thing for condensation. Works if you're sleeping in a vehicle too. I'm just saying. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, yeah, we know a guy who Jeremy said, in case you don't see the messages, Jeremy just said, you're doing just it must be you're doing fine. Just remember, we know a guy that owns a tow truck company. We do, yes, we do, and we know that he loves Suzuki's, and which is Samurais, Trackers, even the Geo Metros and all of those, and Sidekicks and whatever. And if we can find some along the way, maybe it will help pay for the trip. You're absolutely right. Let's just work on praying on what I'm supposed to do with that. Um, breaking up bad. I think I fixed the breaking up bad. This is the Wii Boost is still on. Big boxes of baking soda. Tear off the tops and leave them. That's true. That will help. But in Florida, I'm sure that the baking soda is not enough. And I would definitely, if I'm leaving a camp trailer for any amount of time, I would definitely do the basic charcoal from like Family Dollar if you have that there. I would do that in a heartbeat. I think that that's a better, more cost effective thing. A couple of bags of kitty litter wouldn't hurt, but I would do the charcoal. Uh, you lost me for a minute. Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't want to blow up my little place either. And I always was that way in my vans and my camp trailers and everything else. I'm even now. I can't. I'm afraid of moving the phone and losing the signal. So I'm not going to show you. But over on this side, which is the front door side, which is my north side, I have to be careful. My steps can get slippery. Um, I separate my matches are on that windowsill, and I love tumbleweeds fire starters are my favorites of all the fire starters. But those fire starters that I do use, yes, I make my own. I gather the pine pitch. I do things. I'm kind of bushcraft too. But I love those tumbleweeds and they're fast and I can buy them sometimes. So when I have them, they're over on that side, kind of, yeah. So I separate things even here. And my alcohol fuel for I could show you this. Let me step away and get it. Um, my I bought one of these little lunch bags from Walmart. This one happens to have a little clip on it, which is really convenient when I'm putting it in a vehicle. But it's just one of those, it folds up and folds flat. Just a little lunch bag thing. I don't know, $7. They're not as cheap as they used to be. I use heat a lot for my alcohol in my alcohol cook stoves. But that's because for me, getting it wherever I need to get it, sometimes it's a problem to get it. So if I can find heat, I'll buy heat. If I can't, I'll buy the other stuff. And they both burn just as well. And Sterno is also alcohol. I can put 2 cans of Sterno in the bottom, or I can fill the bag. I think the bag holds 8 cans of Sterno. But the last few times I bought cheap Sterno, not real stuff, it just wasn't the same. So, but I use this to store stuff in. This works really good because it keeps it insulated. So it's never getting, it's only getting so much heat, or it's only getting so much temperature change. Yeah, I'm trying to read. And because I have you on the wall where the signal's the best. So I have used the baking soda for all sorts of things. May have to try it for my van as well. Yeah, okay. That was Iris. Towels, brilliant. Yeah, towels, even in your vans as curtains, some towels, I don't remember which size, right? Quickly, I don't remember which size. Regular pillowcases are the same size as an average back window on a car. And if you stitch a towel inside, which I've done before, a pillowcase, and then you clip it, you have a really nice insulated curtain out of that. Some of the pillowcases, even in vintage camp trailers, some of those long banks of windows that are along like dinettes and stuff, king size pillowcases fit. So the different size towels, pillowcases, and microfiber towels fit different windows so almost perfectly, that they just make the best curtains. And because they absorb moisture, it helps when you're having condensation issues. So, like when I was here that winter, paralyzed in the big snow, and I was running a little tiny wood stove. Let me just tell you, 3-inch stovepipes can be problematic. I had a horrible problem with creosote and 3-inch stovepipe. It was too hard that winter with what I had going on. Not that I'll never have a 3-inch stovepipe. You just got to know what you're doing. And I knew what I was doing, but I couldn't make it work. But I was sick and stuck. And you add those things together, and after a while, you've done enough stuff. Oh, I've done enough. I'm gonna move on from that. So so that winter, the condensation was horrible, and of course, I was in a 1962 Nomad trailer. There was no skirting around it, so my boots and shoes would freeze to the floor. I had to be careful with Ozzy, and you'd wake up, and the top of the sleeping bag would be covered in frost and snow. And so I had a lot of trouble. And so when I found that those beach towels would fit the windows, the insulation factor was better, and they would absorb some of your breath in the air, the condensation. And then as it got sunny, they would dry out. And so it really, really helped. Really helped. Okay. Bending to read you guys stuff again. Ah, good. Okay, Tara. Michigan girl and winter friendly. Oh, cool. There you go. Yeah, Iris, if you can afford it, the last few batches of curtains I did for anything, I just got those. They were $5. I don't know what they cost now. The Ozark Trails camp towels. They're gray in a little bag. They fold up really small. They're just the right size as they are for the side slider windows on a minivan, for the back windows on a minivan. Back windows on a minivan are challenging because of the angle of anything you try to put up. You try to put up reflectix or anything else, and the angle, it works against you for holding it against the glass. So, when I was making curtains for other people a few years back, I was using 3M 77. I was organizing yesterday and found it. Super 77, which is 3M. 3M 77. This is the stuff that they put headliners up with. And so you can spray the fabric, spray your reflectix, let it dry till it's tacky, Tacky means it's sticky. Then respray both and then put them together and then cut them afterwards. That's the way. Use those towels on one side. The color is so similar to the interior color of so many cars. And when you see it against a window, it's not black, but you can't tell that there's anything there. And I often, when I was making curtains for other people, for their minivans and whatever, the other side, I would do the same process, but with a pretty piece of fabric instead, so that they could have wallpaper for their bedroom or whatever, right? Make it feel good. Because practicality is important. Practicality almost always wins, but aesthetics. Come on, I'm an artist at heart, people. So, it's got to look good. Don't be telling me I got to have a piece of shit and it's got to look like crap. No, I will find a way to make it look good. No, it does not have to look like crap. Okay, speaking of that blue car, I found, I parked beside a car in the last couple of weeks. Well, an old Bronco down in town, and they had bed liner sprayed it in this color blue. And I have a photo of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing to this one, bed liner, because I've been playing with this, okay, like driving in the snow and trying to make it slide, and what is it people talk about when you? I knew the term, but I never really was with anybody when they were playing with it. But in a snowstorm, when you do take a corner a certain kind of way and it's like drifting. Yeah, well, I tried taking a corner in the road out here between me and the intersection. And I was like, let's go fast. I know it's going to slide where I drove yesterday. So let's see what happens. Just gun it and see. And it did. It slid around. It's so much fun. I have so much fun. Get myself in trouble someday. But I can't wait to see what it's like to drive that kind of fun in sand, which is what I wanted to do when we were in Baja. But nobody, of course, I was new to my MS diagnosis. I was new to that group of people. They all kept looking at me like the poor, older, not well woman who's with us. We got to be careful of her. Don't let her and it was like, why you leave me out all the fun stuff? And they're like, well, we didn't think you'd want it. Well, why didn't you ask me? Maybe I want to go do that. I want to go see if I can get stuck. I don't know. So when I thought I was going to get to drive the sandrail, I was like, oh, this is going to be the bomb. But that sandrail kept catching on fire, and so I didn't get to drive it. But another trip, those people are still friends. Okay, let's see. So I know I kind of got off on a story. Missed a bit. Charcoal, excellent for odor. It is good for moisture too. Yes. Yes to that, Mary. Charcoal is good for moisture as well as for smells. Oh, hey, Bernie. Bernie's in Puerto Rico. And Mojave, hey. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. Wendy has turned out to be fabulous. Thank you for helping me, Mojave. Look, without her, I wouldn't be Lulu, but she really does give me a reason to get up and, Oh, really, Jeremy? Okay, cool. I think that we collectively need to help Mike help me make a decision. And I think that it probably is going, my initial thought is feeling, maybe feeling, intuition, something. My initial reaction to Mike's message about, oh, I was about to sit, that won't work. About the white tracker, my initial reaction to that information is that we need to go get it. And now some of you are gonna, okay, I'm trying to sit. Can I do this and not? Will the signal still stay good? No, the signal is much better right there. Don't move the phone. I don't know where the stool is. I wanted to sit. That's all right. I'll stand up. It's better for your muscles to stand more than sitting anyways. Okay, well, I'm glad Mike reached out. So maybe you guys will talk a little bit too. I don't know. You and I will talk, Jeremy. Thank you, Iris. Iris is saying that I'm a blessing. You've argued with your minivan's back window coverings, but the cold comes in without something up and privacy. Yeah, so there's something else I did a lot in newer vehicles. Now, some people are real picky about this and they won't do it. And I understand, because when I had that nice minivan, I didn't want to do it either, okay? It was a pretty minivan, but the engine was bad. So pretty and practical wins. Anyway, you can drill the tiniest of holes in the plastic near your windows, in the plastic trim near your windows in newer vehicles. You can take eye hooks. They're the little round ones with the screw part on the bottom. Get the tiny ones. Make sure that they're big enough to put whatever kind of hook thing you're trying to put in them, okay? But the small, tiny ones, screw them in. And you can even, put something behind them and spray paint them to match your trim so that they don't stand out as much. But it'll be just enough of a thing sticking up and it's round so you don't catch stuff on it, that your reflectix won't flap. It's a thing. I've also used it to hook the hooks, and usually the metal hooks, not the plastic hooks, because I like the metal hooks better, of Wendy's hunting. Oh, she's got a bug. I'm so afraid to move the phone right now or I'd show you. Anyways, and so I used to get motorcycle helmet, well, I still do, motorcycle helmet cargo nets. They're tiny. They're like, I don't know, when they stretch, they're like 15 by 16 or 15 by 17 inches, something like that. They're just big enough to keep a motorcycle helmet tied down on the back of a motorcycle in case they want to ride a second person. So those fit really well inside windows and you can tuck things in them. But of course, like me, I want it to look good on the outside. I want all my crap. I don't want just clothes showing on the window side outside. So I would put my reflectix or something in first, then put the net and put my stuff inside, and then nobody knows there's anything back there. But it is a good way to use, and those little hooks will work that way. And they don't mess up your car. If you paint them to match, or, depending. Some people will pull them out and just put some, what's it called? Silicone in the hole when they go to sell the car. But I mean, seriously, I never had trouble with those. They work. That's another thing that works really good. I have 18 miles of dirt road to your place. Yes, you do. Yes. Yeah, you do. And I have neighbors who are further out than me. Just I've been really blessed that it's really only a mile and a half of fugly, but it's bad enough so nobody else lives up here. So that it's blessings come in all kinds of flavors. Mary, let's see. Question. Leaving the curtains up, they dry out. What about if you have to remove them? Ideas for getting them dry while traveling. Well, if you have to remove them, depends on what you're like. Most people on the road don't have. I shouldn't say it that way. Often they're single people. So, what is your passenger's seat made out of? Is it fabric or is it pleather or something? Can you drape it over your passenger seat? Can you drape it over the passenger seat and out so it extends toward the front of the seat so there's air circulation around it? That's one way to dry it while you're driving. Another way, like Mary, I'm thinking, as I remember, you have a pretty one of those pretty cool Ram vans or something. I think yours is a Dodge, whatever. Can you run a bungee or two or three bungees in the doorway from some hook to some hook, even if it's a magnetic hook, just while you're driving and let them hang there to dry? They shouldn't be so wet from one night unless it's super, super cold where you are, that they wouldn't dry just getting some air around them. I would drape them over something. True north, freeze to the floor. Oh yeah, been there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen some of your interviews. Thank you, Tara. Well, sliding around on purpose sounds like fun. Yeah, sliding around on purpose. It's years ago when I lived in Virginia. Okay, one of my favorite cars was my MR2. It was an 87, I think, MR2. Had a little tiny back seat, and it's a mid rear engine. So when the clutch went, they had to take the body off to put the replace the clutch. Anyway, whole thing. Anyways, that car was the bomb. I love that car. It drove the best at 80. Loved that car. Drove it all the way from Key West, Florida to Fort Kent, Maine, more than once. Loved that car. Drove the heck out of that car. Toyotas just go and go and go and go. And no, it didn't have a turbo, so most of the turbos were in the junkyards. But anyway, a couple of times in Virginia, I was going to work. I worked at a shipyard for IBM, but on the shipyard. Anyways, and you're going up over these big overpasses to get to work. Well, I have to open the office. So it's between, I don't know, 5:30 and 6:30 that I'm going to work. And I'm not thinking anything of it, but the snow on the ground and whatever. And I'm going up the overpass, and there's a couple of cars behind me, but not big traffic yet. All of a sudden, the car's just in a spin. I'm like, oh shit! I just take my foot off, and God, you gotta get this. And when it slowed down to where it was controllable again, it was going the right direction. And the cars were closer, but nobody was. I just kept driving. And it happened once, in the 80s in a Fury, in that Fury I had, that was in Tappahannock, Virginia. Hitting black ice and spinning where you're not doing it on purpose, not fun. Scary as shit. But anyways, as stuff. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Skipper Doodle. Thank you, Skipper Doodle. Skip, I have not had a chance to get over to your cottage. I need to talk to the two guys that were interested in it again. But I haven't had a chance. You and I should talk, but when I get back near the mailbox, I'll probably talk to you around that time. So give me like in the next couple of weeks. Greg, what is Greg's question? Did you figure out a good bed in the blue SUV? No. Okay, so get this. I do not understand me in this situation. This is the first car. I don't even want to sleep in it. I don't want to turn it into a camper. What the freak is wrong with me? I stick stuff in the back and okay, so I have an emergency bag with sleeping bag and socks and an extra jacket, gloves, stuff like that in one little bag. I have a tent. I have a foam, closed cell foam, a Z-fold camp pad. These are all in the car. Tarp, fire pit, water, stuff. It's in there. I don't know why I don't want to turn it into a camper. And I know I could. We could drill the hinge pins out of the bench or the butt part of the back seats and just pull those cushions out and store them somewhere. Well, I pulled down one of my storage things here. I kind of miss it, but I'm not sure how I want to put that. I don't know how I want to do that. Anyway, I don't want that much stuff to store. Anyways, but I could pull those out and I could use, a small piece of plywood and carabiners and paracord and hang off the front passenger seat headrest posts. I could hang off an extension for the back floor, push that seat forward, and end up with enough place to sleep. I'm aware that that's possible, but I didn't do it to come home, and I don't understand. This is not normal for me. I don't know why. Y'all got any suggestions? Some of these things are the things that have had me just kind of, pardon me, kind of in my head and borderline depressed with just wondering, why don't I just change this? Why don't I just fix it? Why don't I just... I don't know the answer. Water. Yes, copper. We are a country, we are a civilization. We are a country with not enough copper in us. And some people think that's horrible, but to each his own. Love it. Ain't nothing like a thrift store. I like the price. I think I found it in Colorado. Anyways, yeah. No, I did not figure out a good bed in the blue SUV. Not that I couldn't. And the stuff's in there. If I really needed to sleep, I could figure it out. But I slept in the passenger seat when I came home from Nevada. I scooted the passenger seat back far, laid the back of the seat back as far as it would go, and propped my feet up on something. And just I'm only sleeping a couple of hours anyways, I want to go home so bad. So I don't know. You're much more adventurous. Yes, Iris. Iris is saying I'm much more adventurous at this age than when I was younger. Oh, Sonny, I'm so glad that somebody checks on you. That's wonderful. That's what I was trying to encourage. Hook the hooks. Okay, I don't know what the hooks. I forgot what I was talking about with hooks. Oh, I would so go to the Philippines. if if I had the finances together and everything else. Skipper Doodle knows. You guys who have known me a long time, Greg, some of y'all that have known me a long time, y'all know I'll go almost anywhere. Uh, okay. Whoops. Donna K taking the dog out. Sonia, rural country are great neighbors. If it gets too cold, they come pick me up. Thinking about wood heater, but can't move wood around. Yeah, that's a thing. Sonia, that's a thing. As I've been dealing with winter and wood and splitting wood and stuff, I've been thinking about, would it get to where it would be too hard to do? I suppose it's possible, but I think the fact that I just keep forcing myself to always keep doing, I think it's part of what keeps me. Somebody was telling me the other day they see me as a young person, and and it probably has some to do with my whole adventure thing too. Is I'm not going out in a scooter chair. I'm not going to be old like that. We don't have to, so why? So as long as I keep doing it, I'll be able to keep doing it. Yeah, I probably will eventually get my hands on one of those manual log splitters. Um, Harbor Freight selling them. I didn't realize they had them until recently, but they're the ones they use a hydraulic jack. I think my dad had one years ago, but they just take this motion with your hands, and you put the log and you do this thing, and it just pushes the thing until it, and until it makes a crack and splits the wood. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. That would be nice to have. So I'll probably get one of those. I have a Kindle cracker. As long as the round of the wood is small enough so it fits inside my Kindle cracker has a circle around it. So as long as my wood will fit inside that, then you hit it with a hammer and it cracks. And that's a good splitter. But for larger logs, I have a hard time. I have a hard time with the larger ones because swinging the heavy axe is, it never was easy for me to swing an axe. I can do it. I can do some as long as the wood is older and drier. But there could come a day when it could be harder. But I don't see living another way. All my relatives, they had wood stoves their whole lives. So why why should I be any different? I should be able to handle it. It should work. I don't know. It should work. All right. So that's nice that your neighbors will come and help you. What's Jeremy saying? Bobtail in 80 Colorado hit a patch of black ice. Truck went sideways, just rode it out. Thank God for CB. I'm telling you, Jeremy, I've been watching some of those videos off and on of the guys up on Wolf Creek Pass this last week, and the guys on Donner Pass in, isn't that Nevada or Oregon, wherever that is? Oh, good Lord. Whew. Yeah. I don't like driving great big vehicles anyways. I mean, come on. Come on, a regular van was too big for me. But I just, yeah, I can't even imagine because The trucks are so huge that when they go, you, like I said, you just kind of loosely have the wheel so you can grab it when you can have control of it, and you kind of take your feet off the pedals and just go, God, take over, let help it be okay. I mean, it's scary. Oh, it's scary. Jeremy, about the blue car, you're saying it's the tow vehicle and not the toy. Okay. Because I love my white tracker and I don't have any trouble sleeping in my white tracker at all. Now, to be honest with you, there are some situations where I would like to have a tent. Absolutely. And that's because I want company. I want company. I want company. One more time. I want company. And I don't know how that's going to happen sleeping in a white tracker. And sometimes the weather is bad, and in really bad weather, or a breakdown that takes 6 months, or um, having your Amazon package stolen in New Mexico and being a month and 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I don't remember, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it was, where you can't leave because you got to deal with the police. Okay. It's like, well, crap. I don't want to be like not able to go anywhere for that whole time. So having like the 10 days we spent when we were down at Bahia Frialas in Baja, 10 days on that beach. I needed more shade, you know. My little car was the one that was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the grocery store, Lesa? Because you can get out." Now I'd have to break camp, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine with me. Let's go." But I would like to be able to leave my camp when I do that. So I really want the I'm just going there. Dag, that owns the company, has already given me a family discount. I just can't afford it yet. But he's given me like half price off one of his iDome shelters. If you look at what he's done over the Maui fires, he got on board with providing shelter, that the iDome shelter tents, to the Maui relief organization thing. So he got involved in that. His tents are the only ones that are still standing up. And a lot of those people have been through a lot of storms while they've been in easy up trail things, and gazelles and clams and whatever else, and they all fell down. And his are still standing. I want one of those. I don't want to fool around. I've been through the test and gear stages. Okay. I don't want to do any more test and gear. Forget it. I just want one of his. I know they can handle 75-mile-an-hour winds. I know you can hang a hammock up inside of them. I could probably, can't drive the tracker in, but you get my drift. So that's what I want. And I was having trouble figuring out how to put it on top, on the roof of the white tracker. But I've gotten completely off track here. But yeah, maybe the blue one is the tow vehicle for the white one. And because it has a bigger roof and roof rack, and the iDome shelter could go on top, wow, I can imagine having some like serious fun. And gas is cheap in these couple of cars I got. I mean, I can't believe I go to St. John's. Okay, and I used to have to plan, if I go to St. John's, I got to have $20 for gas. I don't have to have $20 for gas with this thing. I haven't even checked. I haven't done the math to figure out my gas mileage with this one, okay? But it's under $10 for me to go to St. John's. Hallelujah. I can afford it. When I can afford something, it makes it a whole lot easier to go play and be me. Okay. All right. Um. Oh, okay. You were talking about heating her whatever she's living in. Yeah, I don't know what Sunny's living in and what she needs for a heat source. Nope. Iris, I do not feel that part of him having passed, and I don't feel that part at all. And the car has been completely cleaned and saged. So and I just don't believe that there's any spiritual thing like that that's going on with it. Curtain hooks used for pleated curtains. Yeah, sticking the edge of the headliner over the. Yeah, yeah, Sonia, that's good. Yes, those curtain hooks that had the pins, they did work like that. Yep, they work great for that. Who's this? Is it German? From Colorado? Oh, thank you. Thank you and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Whoops. I hit some button I didn't mean to hit. Yeah, this bending trying to see what's going on. The friends you had that came up and visited and that rig they had. Nice. Yes. They're so I went to Baja with Jason and Melinda. Yes. And yes, they're sweet people. I mean, we're all human beings. We all have our crap. Okay. But sweet, sweet human beings. And wait till you see what he did for me. Of course, you've never been up here yet, Jeremy, but he did some serious stuff for me, playing with his winch. But yes, their rig is nice. And we talk rigs. When I'm around people like that, the ideas just come and we talk rigs. And let me tell you, I'm good at the small space design and helping figure things out. But what I find with overlanders that I don't see in nomads as much. And nomads being the van dwellers that became the van lifers. Van lifers broke off and became the rich people. And then the nomads, they're a mix of either the homeless or the, move around people. But I find with overlanders are trying to be more self sufficient. So we tend to think like, hey, I really want to make sure I have this extra engine part in case I can't find one. Or, like Jason from the big truck that was here. Jason is a mechanic. He can rebuild his whole truck. We were in Baja. He decided that I was going to camp in this one little place I found. I was like, oh, I'll just pull in here. And we were right at the edge of a river. And he's like, okay, but I want to be on that sandbar right there. So he's like, I'm going to drive over the boulders to get there. He broke his tie rod getting over the boulders. And he was like, oh, dang. So the next morning, he had to rebuild or repair the tie rod so we could leave, so he could get out. So, nice to have the mechanic along. But I'm now trying to break my tie rods. I can't afford that. And so I find with the overlanders, we prepare for different things. So we set our vehicles up for lots of different scenarios. And so one of the things that I struggle with, because I'm allergic to propane, I struggle a lot with, oh, there's a cobweb. Boy, I tell on myself, don't I? Um, um, I struggle with how to have an outdoor space that's warm, or shaded, because I like my small vehicles. And so when I had the Jeep Cherokee, I was really hoping that was going to be a good car. That was a piece of crap. That was one of the worst cars I've ever had. But anyway, um, that I was going to put a 360 awning on that. And then you could have sidewalls come down, and I could have put a wood stove inside that. And then you're all contained in one situation. That's a very common thing, but that ain't happening for me. So that car didn't work out. And it doesn't look like I can ever afford a Wrangler, and they're not that good from what I hear. But I love my Zukis. So now it's just a matter and finding the iDome shelter, and the fact that it actually will work to do what I want, I think is the direction to go. Because if I did ever want to go visit my kids in Arkansas or in Virginia, you got to go to a campground, and you got to go by legal rules in a more urban situation. And so you have to either be in a tent, you can't sleep in your car the same. And so some of those things are iffy, givey, whatever, part of why I wanted the hammock stand for the front. Okay, so Adventure Hammock Systems didn't want me to have their hammock stand on the white tracker. And then I put one on, and they sent me a message and went, "Oh crap, that looks great." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's not mine, and I can't afford one." And but anyways, part of the reason I wanted that hammock stand on the front of the car was for another bed. And for when it's really hot. I love sleeping in a hammock. So for me, it would have been another place to sleep. And it would have also acted as a couch, because you can get the ridgeline thing for it, for putting a tarp on it. And it would have given you a couch for visiting with other people, right? Shady couch. Um, so I don't know. But those are things, I come up with ideas, and I miss those folks too. Yep. You want that awning set? Well, yeah, for Betty, absolutely. Oh yeah, I mean, I said that when I first saw Betty. Well, I think you're talking about Betty, but when I first saw, okay, so Jeremy has a Toyota Land Cruiser, and he calls her Betty. But anyways, when I first saw her, he's got like round KC style lights up on the top. I can't remember. You have a roof rack too, I think. Anyways, and I was like, "Oh, dang, that thing. Oh, what I couldn't do with this thing. Put that 360 awning on there, get sidewalls. Yeah, then I'll go with you. Forget taking me." No, no, I'll drive my white one. We'll figure it out. I don't know. Anyways, yes, you should have one of those 360 awnings. Some of those companies, I got buddies. So talk to me, Jeremy. Camper on the roof rack. I don't know about rooftop tents. They're okay, but you got a lot of space in the back of that thing. There's enough space for a double bed back there. I'm just saying. Just it's easy to make it comfy. I don't remember the whole makeup of the back platform for you. If it's flat, you just make it all bed. If it's not, make a little small drawer system. Pull out the camp stove. Oh, yeah. I posted a picture to my Facebook of. Okay. Okay. Hey, we've gone almost 2 hours, and I was thinking I wasn't going to be able to talk today because I have a tooth that's bothering me, and I was feeling kind of down. Of course, you got to have your tools. You're a freaking mechanic. And everybody needs to travel with a mechanic. I'm just saying. We need to know mechanics in our life. What was it I used to say? One of the problems I had was I didn't have a mechanic in my back pocket. Um, it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, I didn't think I was going to be able to. I've got a really sore tooth that's bothering me. I was feeling really low last night. I don't know. Woke up this morning at 4:30, not ready to get up, but just like, what the crap? Where was I when I was sleeping? Because I feel so confused. And I was like, what the freak is going on? and and I had drunk monkey. And I had some earlier this week. I called Catherine and said, Catherine, do you ever wake up like so exhausted? Like I slept so hard. What did I say? Instead of sleeping like a log, it was like I slept like the dead last night. But I'm so exhausted. Was I fighting some battle in my sleep and I don't remember? Yeah. I was like, that ever happened for you, Catherine? And she was like, yeah, yeah. Candy, hi. Now, Candy with the pink wave, Candy went to Baja with me too. And I know she'd like to turn me into a Jeep girl, but I just can't afford it, Candy. And we found a couple of pretty ones, but I can't afford a Jeep. Oh, that's good. How much weight of extras light gear can you have in the SUV before going over the gross vehicle weight? I don't know the answer. Not that way. Um, you yeah, you can look it up. There's a certain amount of pounds that you can put in. Now, when you guys were looking at Jason and Melinda's rig, when I did that video with them, um, Jason has rebuilt the suspension and everything so that his rig can take the weight. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think he said that their SUV loaded weighed like 12,000 pounds or some crazy thing. But, he was military and he's into the bigger, the heavier, the better, and so for some people that's true. Now, me being on the minimalist side of things and liking smaller vehicles, where do I kind of, what I tell you guys all the time? I'm always look at travel light and often. Well, part of that is if you keep your gear lightweight, and yet usable and practical for you. So, what's lightweight and works for me might not be the same thing that you need to work for you. So, for you, you might have learned over years and years and years that if you use a certain size cast iron fry pan, all your meals come out perfectly and you're happy. By all means, make that part of your gear. But if you had to hike and leave your rig, you wouldn't probably put that in your backpack because it would be too heavy to carry. So I always had two things in my mind prior to the white tracker breaking down. And that was that if anything ever happened to my vehicle, I was too poor to fix it. So I was going to have to walk away with whatever I could put on my back. So right up until the white tracker, every time I packed a car, I kept trying to make it just like I was going to have to be a long distance hiker again. And that everything was going to have to fit in a backpack. Whatever didn't fit in the backpack, I was going to have to leave behind. And I would probably lose it because, in my experience, I couldn't have ever afforded to do whatever. Well, with the white one, it was like, I know I could walk away, but I don't want to. And that was bizarre for me. Was like, what do you mean you don't want to walk away? For once, I have a vehicle that is, I can manage this. It fits me. I love it. It works. It's fun. I can afford it. I can afford to fix it. It's gone all the way to Baja and back. And scared as I was to go up and down some of those hills, right, Candy? I still, I could do it. And it was like, yeah, I'm not leaving this one. This one's going with, I'm not leaving this one. So now I have to switch gears for what's important. I still found that I learned how to cook with titanium pots and pans. And because I'd rather have one set of pots and pans at the cabin, so the cast irons at the cabin, when I'm off, the titanium goes with me. Well, if I did have to walk or hike, I can take the titanium, but it also doesn't screw with my gas mileage. So you got to figure most all of my gear, personally, if I have a couple 100 pounds, that's a lot. But if you had another human being in your car with you, you'd have another couple 100 pounds. So, yeah. But Jeremy's right. Look it up. And depends on the vehicle. Keep in mind passenger space with luggage. Yep. Absolutely. Keep the weight low. Keep it light, but keep the weight low as well. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I let TJ Shack, they talked to me first, but that's why I let them buy me the water port. So the water port goes on the back receiver hitch, and it's 4 gallons of water. And I'm able to put, you can pressurize it so you can use it for washing your hair or whatever, but you can put drinking water in it. And so I use it for all my water needs, and I have a secondary container. But yeah, um, uh, that keeps that water is heavy, and so keep the water low. So I cried. Yes, I cried because why am I not gonna? I could suck it up and hold it in and get sick. I've already done that in my life. And at my age, there's no point in doing it anymore. So, you know what? If it's hard and it makes me, and I cry, I'm just going to do it anyways. So, cry in front of y'all. And Candy, you still have that video that I never put out yet that I really, I need. I need to do something with that video that you have. Candy got the video of me coming up the hill, so freaking scared that when I got to the top, I needed to ground myself, and I had forgotten to give myself some things inside the car to get grounded. And so I got out of the car, touched the ground, and almost kissed it, just like I can't believe I actually did it. I did it. I did it. The next time it wasn't so hard. It's a little embarrassing, but come on, that's life. And I may as well be the one. You can watch me be embarrassed. You guys don't all have to be embarrassed. But yeah, Candy, I'm so glad I went, and I'm so freaking glad I did not break away from the group. I am so glad that I made myself stay when it was hard, because I almost left, but I am so glad that I didn't. I grew a lot by forcing some change. So, and ain't nothing like Kahlua and black coffee. Tell myself. Oh yeah, that freaking car. Yeah, that was probably the first time you met me. It wasn't the first time I'd been in the shop to see. Stan knew me before then because how many vehicles? Stan knew me when I first moved here with the van, and he let me sleep at the shop in the van. He let me sleep at the shop in the van when something happened to the van and we couldn't get it fixed, and it was over a weekend, and I had to sleep in the van at the shop there for a while, and then I brought a trailer through. Stan, can you help me get this pipe out of this thing? And yeah, after a while he couldn't. I finally got it back here, and but anyways, yeah. Yeah, that red car was yeah, that Cherokee was a piece of shit. And it's probably still running. The other person, it's probably fine for them, right? The person who bought it, but it was not fine for me, that's for sure. But I find a lot of things come to me that way or come through me to other people in that form that, I think it's supposed to be for me. Come here, you. I think it's supposed to be for me, and so I get it or something, and then it turns out to not be even mine. So Miss Wendy was rubbing on my legs. She just came in from outdoors. She needs a bath. She's kind of greasy. Being as cold as it has been and the wood stove running, I bought some beef bones, and so I boiled them. And she's been having a lot of beef bones. They're kind of greasy, so she has grease in her hair. But she's been such a good girl. Yeah, you're being such a good girl. So, all right. Isn't that wonderful? That's great that it's good for them, but just wasn't working for me. Hey, and when it was like another $3,000, no, can't do this, people. No. So the tracker, we can do this. We'll figure it out. But this news that I got just before we went live today, deep breath on that one. Maybe making a trip. I don't know. We'll see. Um, it's Wendy, like Peter Pan and Wendy. A couple of people have misunderstood me when I pronounce her name. So Wendy, right, is a good girl. Yeah, she's a good girl. So yeah, there you go. There you go, Iris. Iris says that's exactly right. My Jeep Grand Cherokee was not so nice to me, but my daughter lives in it now. Isn't that wonderful? By the way, Iris, did you ever get to see the way I had built out the shelving in the back of the Cherokee in case your daughter wants an idea? Because it was pretty. It was cool. Well, guys, do we have more questions? Because otherwise, I'm thinking about um, this. This shirt jacket's hot. It's like this is one of those bay leaf. I don't know if you can see. Amazon has. If I turn all the way around, right there, there's a thing. Um, Amazon sells these clothes. It's like neoprene, and it's got fuzzy fleece on the inside of it. It is so warm. I think it's a runner's shirt or something. But when Jason and Melinda were here, Melinda had the pants that matched this. And she was like, "These are the bomb, Lesa. You got to get a pair of these." So, yeah, really love this shirt. This was a gift from one of you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mary. Mary saying it's nice to see me so chipper. It's actually nice to feel chipper, even though. Yeah. Okay, so my tooth is starting to like annoy me. Ben in chat with Mike. It's not like it's going to happen tomorrow, but as we figure out, we'll go from there. Meantime, I told him just put it all together. We'll let him know when the time comes. Okay. So, in case some of you aren't aware, Mike sent me from Boss Customs in Nevada, sent me a message saying that he is having to close his shop. To I don't think I can pull it up to read it and not lose you. But basically, what he said was he's having to get a job. He had to take out a loan to float the shop for the last couple of months, and he can't continue to do that. So he is closing the shop to any regular work, jobs. And so from this point forward, he's going to finish up the jobs that he's got, like oil changes and things like that. He's going to finish up what he's got. Mine would have been the last of those jobs. And then he's only going to take on full ground up, frame up, full on restorations from 1900 to 1996 vehicles. And that's all he will do, something of that nature. There you go. Thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy put it in here a little better. So Mary's asking, so is there a bill due in work done to date? I had paid him up to date before I left. So I don't know the answer right now, but I think I'm all paid up. He was doing some pre work for bagging it carefully to go to a machine shop. I don't know the answer right now, Mary. I'm not sure. So Jeremy just put it up here better. Due to the rural area that he lives in and operates a shop, he wants to finish Lesa's project, but he wants to focus on the custom work because it pays. Focus on the custom work. It pays better due to his living situation. And I know he had to just go get a job. So shelving in a Jeep. Yes. Her eep, the J fell off. Oh, True North, that's you. Oh, you're the daughter? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. She's paid up on the work up to sending the motor out to have it rebuilt. When she left, it was zero balance, looking to go forward later. Yeah. Okay. Prayers for Catherine. Oh, that's right. Catherine took a fall, but she felt like a sack of potatoes and her right arm hurts. So would you pray for her? Pray for each other, please. And on my side, if you just pray for a little guidance and confidence level in decision making. And of course, I got some great mechanics. Thank you, Jeremy and Mike and whoever else will get in on it. Thank you for helping me with making good decisions. And hopefully we get my white tracker back here soon. And yeah, and pray for Mike and his wife, Samantha. She goes by Sam, and the two children. The kids' names, Alice and Bruce. Bruce and Alice. If you would pray for them too, because they do live in a very rural situation. It's a challenge, and with Mike having to give the shop up in one form in order to go get a job, that will change their life a little bit. Plus the fact that their Jeremy Lemon is his last name, um, had MRSA, was in the hospital, had partial amputations, and Mike told me that he did not come back to the travel trailer, the fifth wheel at his place where he was building the paint shop. He actually had gone somewhere else to be with someone else with care and ended up back in the hospital again. So if you pray for that, Jeremy Lemon, as well. Um, Continue to pray for Carrie and Danny and that family that lost their husband a couple of months ago. And of course our Jeremy, whose dad died, but that's starting to calm down for him. They finally taken care of some big issues. But it's hard when you lose somebody close. Um, the I don't know what else right now. I'm trying to think of other quick things that people have told me to remember, because I do try to pay attention to what's going on with other people. Um, yeah, and my tooth, and I have a sore on my leg. Oh. Um, Jeremy, you so funny. So Jeremy put uh so some of you were saying thank you for, you know, praying for everybody and all of our members and all of those kind of things. And then Jeremy says, yeah, blew my father up. There's a story there. So Jeremy, we got to do an interview with you, a live interview. So one of these Sundays, let's get you together and you can tell the story. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Um, and Sonia, hang in there, honey. I'm glad you've got good neighbors that check on you. And anything we can do, you let me know. Iris, we'll get that story out of him, but maybe we'll do it as a Sunday live in person interview. How's that? Yeah. So I don't know. I can't think of any other, well, don't forget to pray for all the people who are going through really cold weather. And I saw this short. It comes across on YouTube, but it might be a TikTok thing, and I'm not sure. Um, but then up in Canada, they're shutting the electricity off sometimes right now because the weather's so cold. And they're worried about the power grid going down in Canada. Do you know how many people in cities in Canada don't have a wood stove anymore? Oh, good Lord. So let's pray for those folks too, that they're going to be okay. So, yeah, all right. I'm going to let y'all go. You have a wonderful day. Right, Wendy? I'm going to go outside and get some wood. We get our wood in for tonight. Play a little bit, run a little bit. Okay, y'all have a great week, and we'll see you again next time. What is it I've been saying? Same bat time, same bat channel. See you next week, guys. Ciao.